show or game you thought was your peak when you were like 13, 14?
Bro, I thought Hannah Montana was like the peak of my life when I was like 13.
Did you like unironically?
I unironically was obsessed
Not a
with it.
meme.
Not a meme.
Okay, then in that case, as a long time Hannah Montana glazer, what?
Okay, well, hold on now.
Of trash
I'm
taste.
not a long time glazer. There was a period of my life where I was a
Did your homies know
glazer.
about this?
No, I couldn't tell. Are you kidding me? By the way, I was already getting bullied for playing COD.
Yeah.
Which they were all playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think I could tell them I was watching Hannah Montana? And that I knew the hoedown throwdown?
None to them. I guess.
Yeah, I've been listening to it daily.
Oh, it's so
It's such a banger, dude.
such a bob, man.
Such a banger.
Hey boys, welcome back to another episode of the Trash Taste Podcast. I'm Joey and I'm with the boys, Connor and Gant, as usual. They've been singing that the entire time. We've been in the office.
Dude, it's such
so
a banger.
Did you finish it?
I did finish it. Can we talk about it a little bit? Sorry, Joey.
It's fine. Yeah, you can talk about it.
Spoiler alert, they actually like that we figured out that we can move around the earth.
Yeah.
No way.
Eventually.
Yeah.
In history.
Eventually.
Holy shit.
That's I mean,
My whole life view has changed now.
I mean, you could also read the manga, also called the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the light novel. That's the web novel. No, that's the web novel that the
I prefer
manga
the web novel adaptation
is based on. But holy shit, yeah, I just finished it as well because
Yeah.
I just finished like a few weeks ago, and
It's peak.
it is.
I mean, I know.
The thing is, people say peak for everything
Yeah,
nowadays.
this is actually peak.
This is like actually. Like,
That's why the word peak is just like lost on me now. They're just like, yo, it's peak. And it's like 10 minutes of the first episode.
Yeah,
it's like, yo.
it's like here's a shiny new thing that's come along, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, yo, it's peak. But no, this is actually peak.
I've like summoned every influencer like DNA in my body to like get people to watch this show.
Yeah.
Everyone I come across, I'm like, Orb, watch
Yeah.
Orb, watch Orb.
I mean,
Watch
I
Orb.
would go far to say as because by the time this episode comes out, my video about Orb will already be out.
Yeah.
So is this I'm praising Orb on every platform I can
Orb,
possibly
number one
do.
Orb Blazer over here. Number two Orb Blazer.
I've been
Glazer.
I've been the number one Orb glazer from the beginning. You can see the history of this podcast where I'm like, you should watch this anime called Orb, and it has just gotten it's an anime that's gotten progressively better and better.
Yeah.
Right.
To the point where I think now that it's ended, because it is a full story, you get the end of the story. I think it's up in the running for anime of the decade.
Oh, shit.
And it's like up there in like Vinland Saga level for me.
Word.
Or would you say so?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one I prefer, Vinland Saga or Orb. That's how fucking
That's
good this
saying a lot coming from a Vinland Saga glazer as well. If there's a couple of shows that Gant has glazed over the years, it's Vinland Saga, now Orb.
For the 19th time, if you don't already know what Orb is, Gant will now give you a brief explanation about
I mean,
what Orb is
it's
and why you
okay.
should watch.
We have basically talked about the basic premise. It's,
Like
it's a
15
show
times, yeah.
about proving the Earth goes round, but the real selling point,
The Earth goes around.
the Earth goes around.
Which is a new word that I
Heliocentrism.
learned.
Yeah.
I did not know this word before.
You didn't know
But
the word before?
I didn't actually. I learned it from Orb.
Like if you had told me the word, I could have pretty much guessed
Yeah.
what you're talking
Oh, yeah.
about.
Yeah.
It's pretty
But like I
self-explanatory.
wasn't in my vocab.
Oh, okay.
Now it is, and I love saying it because I'm like,
When do you say it?
because when I like talk to my mom, it's about heliocentrism. Which of course, you know what that is, right, mother?
Everyone knows about heliocentrism.
when I learned,
You're a dirty geocentrist. look at this motherfucker geocentrist right there.
You allow these socioeconomic times of our current.
That's why we're the ones in the suit and the shirt, and he's in a sweater.
Yes,
you know?
of course you don't know how the Earth rotates.
The moment I come around to heliocentrism is when I finally can get a collar on my shirt.
But it was so fucking good.
It's
Yeah.
one
Amazing.
of the most like inspirational shows with some of the best cast of characters I've seen.
So to give
like anime.
context, with the manga, I've read about way when it was still first serializing. I think I read the first like 4 volumes, and the anime I only watched the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I already from the get-go, I knew it was going to be a show I fucking loved. I just haven't had the time to watch it.
Oh, I gotta ask, who's your favorite character? That's how you know it's a good show. You're like, who's your favorite
If
character?
there
And
isn't
you're
one
like,
standalone, that's how you know it's good.
because I had such a hard time because one of the things that's amazing about it is that it follows like so many different stories and so many different characters, and then what will happen is you'll get invested into this like one character and then it'll move to another character story and you're like, I don't want another character story. I want that character story. And then like 2 episodes, you're like, I love this person. I love this person. I'd never leave me again. And then you go to another character and you're like, fuck, all over again. And then it starts all over again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it is so fucking hard to choose a favorite character.
Yeah.
Man, it's tough.
Yeah.
There's so many amazing characters in it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's like 7 characters that I all think are like the best character.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because they're just so well written. Fuck.
Yeah, first
man.
you're like Rafał, who is the first one.
he's kinda
He's
goated.
like such amazing character, and you can feel, even though he's just a kid, you can feel his presence throughout the entire show. And then we move over to 2 other characters, I was gonna say Bell Dandy, but that
I always think he's called Bodani, but that's like the priest guy, the other guy. That's
no,
like
it is Bodani and Ozki.
yeah. Okay, it is Bodani.
yeah.
Is it? That's Bodani, right? Why did I think Bodani was like one of the son of the head of the church? I don't know why I thought.
Yeah, is it Badani or Baldani? I can't.
Oh my god, bro! I gun to my head. I don't know. I don't know.
Baldani or Baldani?
I think Bodani.
Badani.
Yeah,
I think Bodani's maybe my favorite. I love Bodani, but Schmidt is also so fucking cool.
Schmidt is amazing. I love out of
Oxy's
everyone.
so good too.
Ozki's like character development is fucking
Peak.
incredible,
So good.
and I think he arguably has like one of the best moments in the show.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to spoil, but I think in terms of like pure energy, Badani is just like I bow down to the amount of gatekeeping he has.
Yeah, he's such a dick to everyone.
Yeah.
But that's why it's so fun because you kind of see like this guy tried this, it didn't, maybe it did work, it didn't work. Maybe this guy tried this worked for him, this didn't work, and then kind of seeing the evolution of like how it keeps evolving.
Yeah.
And obviously the whole time Noak's there and he's just goaded.
Yeah.
And he's got such a presence.
One of the amazing things about the show is that, yes, it's about proving the Earth, goes around the sun and everything like that. But really what it's about is all of these characters who have these different personal philosophies, like coming together with a common goal and just kind of like influencing each other by just like being around each other. So Bodani starts off and he kind of ends off as just this egotistical dickhead priest. Like
I love him.
one of my favorite scenes with him is that he has this conversation with Ozki, the other guy, who's like, I want to learn how to read and write, and Badani's right. Why? You're a fucking peasant. Reading and writing is for the privileged, and Ozki's like, shouldn't that be for everyone? And he's like, fuck no. If everyone could read and write, do you know how much unreliable information would flood like the Earth?
This is like
and
AI now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's
He's
like,
right.
He's like, damn, you know what?
Bro's ahead of his time.
Yeah, bro's actually speaking facts. Actually, maybe he's onto something. Maybe we should have gatekept knowledge, man.
Yeah,
But-
I just love that it was always like, no matter how different these characters were, the underlying theme of just sharing ideas, and collaborating was always the ultimate way to progress anything.
Yeah.
Was to team up. You could
Yeah.
never do it alone.
Yeah, because
sure.
I think one thing that sets Villain Saga apart from like so many other anime and manga is that I think it has a message that so many people need to hear. You have no enemies was like a meme that got spread around, and I genuinely think it was like
It's true, man.
It's
people,
true.
People need to know that online.
Yeah,
if Twitter users knew that they have no enemies, they might be better off in life.
They won't be on Twitter.
and, yeah, exactly. And I think Orb has like an equally important message, which to me, like the biggest factor in terms of like separating who were like the protagonist to like the antagonist in here is that every protagonist listened to other people. They allowed, they had their own personal philosophy. They had their own personal beliefs. And it's not like they did a 180, but you could see the effects of listening to other people. Like,
It affects
on
them in like different ways, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if there was a message to Orb, the message I got was like belief, blind belief for like anything is just a really dangerous mindset. Because if you don't allow, if you don't listen, even want to listen to other ideas, other conflicting viewpoints, then you just stop progressing as a human. You stop humanity from progressing itself.
You hear that, internet? That's something the internet needs to learn.
And there are just so many fucking beautiful moments in this. Like it's not necessarily that I cried, but there are moments where, you finish an episode and you just have to say like,
you sit there.
Let it soak in.
Fucking damn, man.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like, okay, it happened once. And I was like, okay, this is a good show. Happened twice. And I was like, shit, this can't keep happening. And then it kept on happening.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is just because it's so unpredictable as well. It's been so long since I've seen an anime that is just like, you will have a scene, right? Especially any fucking scene with no wag, right? Normally you know how the scene's gonna play out. He comes into the scene and you're just like, what the fuck is gonna happen?
Shit always goes down when he shows up.
And it's Suda Kenjiro as well, so you get that like the silkiest
his
fucking voice on the planet.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
he's got insane aura.
Yeah,
He does.
And it's really fun as well, like, and how it kind of, science as well often requires a lot of collaboration. Einstein does his little EMC MC squared.
Yeah.
Someone else is like, all right, I guess I'll figure it out. Guess I'll figure it out for you, boss.
Yeah,
I'll test it.
Yeah,
it's just like the collaboration where like it's not about what you can achieve in your lifetime. It's what can you progress and what can you give to other people who are going to come next.
Yeah, it's that whole idea of like, science is like that thing where like they adjust their views based on what's observed, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like faith is like the denial of said observation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and the thing is, this could have been so easy to like be like a preachy anime, be like
religion bad.
Religion bad,
Yeah.
science good, and stuff like that. But what I find like that's really cool about it is that it doesn't say any one message at all. It kind of gives you the perspective of like both sides and allows
It's like
you,
here's both sides of the argument, make up your mind.
and allows the audience to make up their minds.
Yeah.
And like your conclusion might not even come to the same conclusion as the characters do, because the characters could come to a different conclusion. But what's important is that it teaches you to understand why they came to that conclusion.
Right.
And it just, I think that's just such a fucking beautiful thing and such an important message we need in this day and age.
So hard to do as well,
Yeah, yeah.
effectively, especially.
I was really glad when some characters, when they were discussing religion, because I'm not religious, and so it's so easy to be like, I don't care for it. The church is corrupt, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But I really appreciated that there were a lot of characters that were like, look, I'm here to fight for science here, but I still believe that when that sun rises, that's God, baby. That's something special. And I think the level of I suppose respect for every aspect of like the characters, their beliefs felt so real and so raw.
Yeah.
In a way that I feel like is so rare in anime to get like such depth in characters and with not that much screen time each character. Like they didn't get 19 episodes each to flesh everything out. It was like the dialogue was so well
time
written.
wasted.
And it was like you never, like Gon was saying, whenever you meet a new character, you're like, oh, fucking another new character.
Yeah.
But then within one episode, you're like, fuck, I want another new character.
Hold on, he's spitting.
Hold on, this guy's got an insane worldview. I got to listen up real quick.
Like one of my favorite scenes in all of this wasn't even one of like the climactic scene. It's there's two characters, Schmidt and Draka.
I love that conversation.
And they basically had a conversation where they thought they had a similar viewpoint. It turns out they had completely opposite viewpoints because they were like, yo, you disagree with what the church is doing, right? and Draka's like, yeah, I disagree wholeheartedly. So Schmidt's like, another one like me. Correct. And Draka's like, yo, you don't believe in God either? And Schmidt's like, the fuck you just say? The fuck you just say to me, you little bitch?
Yeah, they're both doing the same actions, but for entirely different reasons.
Right.
It's so cool that has been like using generational characters to give these like the perfect characters to appear at the perfect time in that world, which is like what it felt like. It's like, and it feels like real life, right? Where there's always that one person that comes around and happens to be at the right place at the right time that manages to change things.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
It's just really beautiful.
Yeah,
what a fucking beautiful show.
It's so fucking beautiful because like going off that, they end that conversation with Schmidt going, like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he's like, I just want you to know, I absolutely despise you. We will not be able to get along. And he ends the conversation with that. But then after that conversation, you see how they affect each other. And even two people with completely opposing viewpoints that cannot find no middle ground eventually find a way to at least give respect to each other. And I think that's just the best part of humanity that you can fucking hope for.
Absolutely.
And part of humans that we need to see more of, honestly.
Yeah. Felt like it came out at a really good, important time.
Absolutely.
We need to hear other viewpoints and listen to each other a bit more, be more respectful.
Yeah.
And
So,
coexist.
So yeah, honestly, this is I think this is a generational anime. It's up there with Vinland Saga. It's like one of the anime of the decade for me.
Yeah, no, I definitely will.
Go fucking watch Orb.
I definitely will finish.
I really hope in like 20 years this is still one of the shows like you got to watch Orb.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it will be.
And then on top of that, one of the best openings in anime in a long time. So fucking goated. I never skipped the opening a single time. It was so fucking good.
Yeah.
Nor did I.
It was so fucking good. This opening is fire.
It's peak. Dare I say,
It
man.
is peak. I listened to a couple of second action songs before in the past and I liked, and I didn't know it was them. So when I listened to the song, I was like, oh, this sounds familiar to the
They're
other
such
song.
a good band too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have some really amazing songs. Go and check out the rest of the songs. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a great fucking song.
Hell
Holy
yeah.
shit.
Great
And I love that the intro changes. I love when they do intro changes.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, what's the new one? Just a genuine 10 out of 10. Or as everyone keeps saying, it's a 9 out of 10 because you got to give 10% to Potocki. But amazing show.
Hell
Yeah. Have you seen the full upload of the opening that they did?
With the 4 things.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Oh no! They officially uploaded it, and they basically made an AMV of the entire show.
What? I haven't seen the full
shit.
AMV version.
Yeah. And I think it's fucking great because
Yeah.
it distills the essence of the entire show within their full song.
Yeah.
No, I'll cry. I can't listen to that. I'll cry if I listen to that. I've been listening to the full song though a bunch. Like every morning I've been listening to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a bop.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
go
what a
watch.
good
Go watch Orb. You are
For the
you will have
50th
your
time,
mind
go
blown.
watch it.
Yeah, and I'm
Please.
never gonna stop singing its praise.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Hell yeah.
But then the real peak,
No.
solo level.
Oh my god. That's all I've seen anyone talk about lately.
It is.
Yeah.
It is the only thing.
I've heard it on and off. So, like, can you give like the full context of it? Because I feel like I haven't like fully figured out what's happening here.
No, I don't know what's happening either. You have to explain it
Yeah.
to me someone
Because the
else.
last I heard from Solo Leveling was that it was, and this is quite a while ago, but this like it was like, you know, I think it was episode 7.5 or whatever it was getting absolutely flamed,
Yeah.
and now it's like suddenly peak again. Or something. I don't know. I don't know the full context.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with solo leveling is that season 2 has fucking eclipsed season 1 in terms of like popularity
Right.
and hype. It's pretty much all that anyone's talking about right now.
Yeah.
And it's doing pretty much the same thing as it was before, I will say.
Nothing has changed. No news in 10.
You tell me anything has changed with solo leveling? Nothing much, except Jinwoo, Sung Jinwoo has gotten
Even more OP?
even more
Okay,
aura,
makes sense.
even
Okay.
more OP.
Okay.
Yep.
I will say that season 2 has been a lot more enjoyable than season 1 because we've gotten most of like the leveling in solo leveling out of the way, and now it's just pure fucking aura farming in season 2.
Hey, look, there's always a show that comes out that's pure like aura farming.
Yeah.
with,
Of
not
course.
to
We need one.
just a guy who's basically we called him Kirito back in the day.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: people think whenever I talk about solo leveling, it's almost like people think that I do not like solo leveling, and it's not that I don't like solo leveling. I enjoy solo leveling for what it is. It is pretty much very well animated junk food. You know, that is what it is. It is.
It's dumb fun.
Yeah. It is dumb fun. It is turn your brain off. You watch it for one guy who has maximum fucking aura. Basically solos everyone,
Right.
and that's it. You have a good time. When I start like punching down is when people are like, yo, this is peak, man. Peak anime can't
like,
get
we gotta
better
slow
than
down. We
this.
gotta
And
calm
I'm
down,
like,
boys.
okay, wait, I was on your side.
Yeah.
I made a video telling people to go read solo leveling. We were all on the same side here. And then you just overshot,
You
man.
guys need to relax.
we just overshot here, you know.
You can't say that when Orb is happening at the same time. You know?
Look, I think there's a a lot of teenagers online.
Yeah.
I think a lot of young adults who I think they get super pumped about something because they want to. Then they get excited about it because it's cool.
Yeah.
And they just want to share it with other people.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people get carried away.
Yeah.
And I think that's. I mean, I don't.
I mean,
think,
look, I don't blame them because, like,
Yeah.
the same. We saw the same phenomenon with Sword Art Online back in the day as well, right? Like, a lot of people are like, "Yo, this is peak. Anime can't get better than this." And then, it's like, all right, relax. It's fine to like it. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's good. Like you said, I junk food.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
like, enjoy it, man.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
totally.
Why not? I think it's sad when people are like, it's terrible. It's 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now you're just being a dick because you're mad that people are happy about something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, it's not going to be the best thing ever. But why does it bother you when someone says that?
Yeah.
Because if you've watched Orb, like, you're happy.
Yeah. It's less cringe to say Solo Leveling is peak than to say that it's like just shit.
Yeah, why does somebody else loving this show too much? Why does that affect you so much? If you and vice versa, if you love Solo Leveling and someone's like, yeah, I just don't think it's that great.
Well, no,
don't get upset about it.
Yeah. Well,
get over it.
I get it
It's a
because, like,
fucking anime.
when I was younger, I had that mentality for sure. I'm
Yeah.
not even going to hide that fact,
Me
Nah,
too.
Actually, when I was younger, I had better taste. I had better taste.
Look, Joey,
actually.
we have no enemies, right? This is what they
had
gotta
no
learn.
enemies.
They need to learn they have no enemies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Vinland Saga, like, I used to think that way, where it's like there was like a really popular show that I didn't like, and then I was like, nah, this is ass. If you like it, you're ass. You're whack. And now, thanks to Vinland Saga, I was like, hang on. I have no enemies. It's fine.
True,
It's fine to
true.
like it. I don't like it. You like it. There you go. End of story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should save our hatred for what really matters. B-tier Marvel movies. That's what really we need
Hey,
to
I've been there
is
since
true.
day one.
I'm kidding. But yeah, I was saying, it seems like everyone is talking about it. They had they also have on, like, I saw on Crunchyroll, they have the most liked episode of all time in anime and the most disliked episode of all time in anime.
Oh, which one? Solo
It's
Leveling?
7.5.
Yeah, 7.5 was the
Yeah.
most disliked. I know
Yeah,
that.
and the newest one, which is good for them.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, I'm sure Crunchyroll's very happy.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
get a lot of traffic.
Yeah,
from
hell
it.
I mean,
yeah.
it's going to say a lot because Solo Leveling, I think, is the first super popular anime that's basically, maybe this needs to be fact checked, but off the top of my head, I can't think of another anime that is as successful as Solo Leveling that didn't come from a Japanese IP.
This episode is sponsored by Zocdoc. When was the last time you needed to go to the doctor, but you pushed it off? Made the excuse that you're too busy, forgot where you put your insurance card, or it's just too cold, or I'll pass on heading this time. Look, I think we've all been there, and booking your doctor's appointment can just feel so daunting. But thanks to Zocdoc, there's no reason to delay. They make it so easy to find and book a doctor who's right for you. Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to settle anymore when it comes to finding the right doctor. With Zocdoc, you've got options. Zocdoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking in booking in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care, and more. And you can filter from doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, and are a good fit for any medical need you may have, and are highly rated by verified patients. You can also filter based on specific preferences, whether that's looking for a male doctor, speaks a specific language, has availability that fits with your work schedule, or has an opening in the next day or so. Once you find the right doctor, you can see their actual appointment openings, choose a time slot that works for you, and click to instantly book a visit. Appointments made through Zocdoc also happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking, and sometimes you can even score same-day appointments. Look, if I was in the States and needed to find a doctor, I would use this. So stop putting off those doctor appointments and go to Zocdoc.com/trash to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/trash. Zocdoc.com/trash. Back to the episode. I don't think Solo Leveling is popular in Japan, is it? Anime.
I'm not too sure. I mean, I haven't seen it.
Because that's how I normally judge what animes are popular, based on what I see outside.
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
seen a single Solo Leveling
I've
thing.
maybe seen like one thing of
I've
Solo
met a
Leveling.
taxi driver who watched Solo Leveling.
You did?
Yeah. Wait, haven't I told this story?
I don't think so.
Oh shit! No, I was in a random cab, and we just have a random conversation. He asked me what I do. I said I'm a YouTuber focusing on anime and manga, and he's like, "No way! What kind of anime are you watching? What's your favorite anime?" And I'm like, "Oh, right now I'm watching I'm watching Orb. I recommend that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I like One Piece. I like JoJo. I say all of the things that are normally popular in Japan."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, I'm currently watching this show called
Solo Leveling.
No. I'm currently watching the show called I Parry Everything."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?"
Bro's
What?
a DJ. He's a DJ.
What?
He's a DJ.
He's a secret Giga fan.
Which, if you don't know, I parry everything. It is basically what it sounds like. It's a
Isekai sloth.
It's a not isekai, but isekai, in spirit.
Yeah.
Power fantasy where this guy literally can only parry and he gets really overpowered by parrying. And then he's like, no, but for real, my newest obsession. Have you heard of this? Solo leveling. And I'm like, you are the first person in Japan that I've met that is watching solo leveling or is excited about solo leveling. And he's like, yeah, but the first season was so short. And this was back in winter. So I was like, actually, this is episode 1 of season 2 is next week. And he was like, no fucking way. Next week? You for real?
So let's go.
So aside
also,
from
the parry anime title is so AIDS.
Yeah.
It's so long.
Aside from that one taxi driver, I have not met another single Japanese person who is watching solo leveling.
Yeah,
But
I think right now in Japan, it's still, the, Blue Lock is still, like, really far up there. You see that everywhere.
yeah.
Given, that's one that I see a lot of.
Given.
Yeah, you might have seen it around. It's like it's Fujoshi bait from how I'm seeing it, but like
I mean, it's a really good show.
Yeah. This one is really popular in Japan right now.
But yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of pretty boys.
a lot of pretty boys doing music.
That's
Great
very
mu-
highly rated. I doubt
Yeah.
it's
No,
just-
it is a fucking fantastic music show.
Yeah,
When you mean Fujoshi bait, you mean just appealing to
Just the-
middle-aged women in Japan?
yeah, just a lot of pretty
Oh,
boys.
yeah,
you know?
okay,
Yeah, I've probably seen more pop-ups of this anime than anything this year.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like every mall you go to in Tokyo has a pop-up of this show.
Yeah, it's kind of people. I think people in Western spheres don't really understand sometimes how different the Japanese taste is.
Yeah.
and what
Yeah.
gets popular. Because so leveling, I haven't seen anything.
No,
No,
I mean,
nothing.
Japan has always been in its own bubble in terms of like
Yeah.
what's popular and what's not. And for the longest time, I just think that the international anime community didn't play such a big factor, and Japanese anime creators only cared about catering towards Japanese audiences.
Yeah.
But I think Solo Leveling has just kind of like blown the lid off of everything with how popular it has gotten.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine we've had like webtoon adaptations before. We've had Tower of God.
Yep.
We've had
God of High School.
God of High School. I'm
A
sure
lot of
there's
gods.
Huh?
A lot of gods.
a lot of gods.
A lot of gods.
Yeah. But there's only one god for me, the god of Solo Leveling. The
Aura god.
the Aura god
All
himself.
Father God.
And yeah, I mean, I can only imagine that after Solo Leveling, there's going to be an influx.
Is
of
it going to be the new meta?
Well, you think like manhwa are gonna get adapted like crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, already there's a lot of manhwa that have been announced for adaptation. There's Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint has been announced. The beginning after the end has been announced as well, and they are both very, very popular manhwa.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I think this is going to
be
kind of
exciting.
like pave the way for not just like manhwa or like international adaptations,
Just
to
non-Japanese IPs.
non-Japanese IPs to
Yeah.
really have a space to like fucking explode in popularity.
Just have a chance.
I
if
just-
more than
Yeah.
anything, yeah.
I just really want more good stories to be adapted,
And
and not the same.
I'll be honest,
Type.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I'm excited right now.
Why is that?
Okay, so I've done a video going through manhwa.
Yeah.
And there are some fucking fantastic manhwa.
Yep.
And manhua as well from China. They are just not on the level of the Japanese manga and light novel industry.
Right.
If you think there is a lot of slop in manga and light novels with isekai,
Yeah.
you have not felt true brain rot till you go into like the manhwa world, man.
Right.
I mean, the Japanese manga industry's had so many decades of kind of, perfecting the system of how they're making
Yeah.
it. So I feel like it's understandable that like your average manhwa might not be to the same standard as your average manga, right?
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
And also like culturally speaking, becoming a manga is like really sought after. There's a lot of people trying to do it. And I think obviously that also plays a factor. It's the same reason with like voice acting as well.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the level of voice acting in Japan is generally quite high.
Yeah, I think it's like
There's just a lot of people who want to do it.
I remember I read like a thing from like Shonen Jump. Like this was like pre-pandemic, but I'm sure nothing has changed. But it's like out of like every, I think it was like 2,000 creators that write their own manga, only a handful of them actually make it.
Yeah.
And it's stuff that you actually read. So it's like, it just goes to show just how many people in Japan are wanting to release their own manga and just how little you actually see. Even though it might seem like Japan has a fuckload of manga, and they do. That's not even scratching the surface of the amount of people who actually want to strive to be in this scene, right? So, you know, we always say like, oh, there's so much slop in the manga world, but like, there's so much more that doesn't even make it out there.
I'm not a fan of the trend of just adapting like manga that just got like popular like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we're going to do an adaptation for this thing that's got 8 chapters out. And it's like, why? Like, there's so many classic manga that have never been adapted.
They haven't even given it enough time to like actually figure itself out.
Yeah, like there's so many banger manga out there, or stories or light novels that have never been touched. That because they're not popular at the moment. I think there's a lot of worry from these studios, not studios, sorry, it's the committees. They're like too worried to touch something that isn't hot right now.
Exactly.
Like, come on, man.
Exactly.
Like, when we think about the peak of anime, it's like they weren't necessarily hot at the time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think right now there's, you know, it's about the question of like, when does a manga get greenlit for an anime? What is like the right amount of chapters? Because you know, when something like, let's say, Kagurabachi came out, pretty sure we all knew it was going to get an anime adaptation every now and again. It wasn't a question of if, it was a question of when. But then the question comes down to, shit, how long do we have to wait to like before there's enough content to adapt, and not just like for season 1, but like for like multiple seasons as well.
Right.
And I feel like in some ways it's getting like earlier and earlier in terms of like trying to find the next big thing.
Yeah, that is true. That is
sometimes. Because I think back in the day there were only like a handful of manga, and you have like the Naruto effect where instead of doing seasons, they would just do filler, you know? And I'm so fucking glad that the whole filler era is over now.
Because like even like back in the day, right, even though the amount of anime that was coming out was way, way, way less than before, you still got a handful of shows that had a lot of, you know, expectations from its original adaptation or source material. But then because they didn't give it enough time to actually let it cook, the anime just ended up kind of fizzling out. And it's, you know, becoming just thrown into the pile of meh, whatever type shows, right? Yeah. And I feel like now that anime has gotten even more popular than ever before, and there's just like fucking 50, 60 shows that are coming out per season now.
Yeah.
It's just like, we're just going to keep getting so many shows where it's like, oh, I just found out about this manga 2 weeks ago, and now there's an anime coming out next week for it. It's like, okay, like you haven't even given me the time to figure out what it even is, and we're already getting an adaptation of it. And some studios are just like, yeah, we'll put all of our fucking budget into this thing that we've only seen 2 volumes of. Like, yeah, let's put our entire lifeline on this show.
Yeah, it does seem like quite frustrating, and I hope it changes.
I hope so too.
Because I think a big thing is you look at an example like Blue Lock season 2, where I think that got memed to shit for some of like the animation quality in there. And I honestly I honestly feel for the animators, because it just felt like you have 2 options. You have 2 paths. You go the ReZero path, where you have to wait literally like 4 years between adaptations. Not ideal, but this new season of ReZero has gone so fucking hard. It's been such a good adaptation, right? But the hype is a lot less, just because we've waited so many years. And then you have Blue Lock, the manga that was the top-selling manga of that year, right, when season 1 came out, and you know, because of the World Cup as well. Yeah. And so season 2, we didn't have to wait too long for season 2. And considering the product that we got, this is just my hypothesis, but I think what happened was, instead of like it being greenlit ages ago, my hypothesis is that it feels like it got greenlit after they saw the success of season 1.
Yes.
And then rushed out this product for season 2. Yeah. And that's why a lot of season 2, aside from like the final episode, is the quality that we got.
Yeah, and I mean, that makes sense, because Japan has and always probably will be an entertainment industry that relies so much on trends. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, this thing is trending right now, we need to get something out right fucking now, regardless of, to the best that we can in terms of quality. But sometimes that quality is not the quality that everybody else is expecting. But then, of course, you get, in the case with like Blue Lock in Japan, for instance, even though it was memed to shit in the international community, the Japanese community was just like, peak anime, let's fucking go. More soccer boys, hell yeah. I don't give a fuck. We just got a new anime adaptation. It's like, at that point, if it being the studio, it's like, okay, which do you look at? Do you look at just like how well it did domestically, regardless of the quality drop, or the amount of fucking memes that came out of it in the international community?
Yeah.
It's hard, right? Because at the end of the day, it is a business. And it's like, well, if this is the best move, we just need to fucking get something out there and just make the bag while we can.
Yeah, which is why like it's whenever I see people arguing over like how they released Invincible with like that got like so much controversy because there was like time between episodes and time between the release of one half of the season from like the second half of the season.
That was season 2, right?
That was season 2. And I was thinking, damn, compared to anime, this got made super fucking fast for how much content was made compared to like some anime adaptations.
I guess so. What it'd be the equivalent of like 20 episodes. And then it took, I think, 2 years for it to come out? But then season 3 came out 1 year later?
Yeah, exactly.
So it seems like they've figured it out a bit with the growing pains of that. Season 3 was good. Some of the animation was not great in the earlier parts of season 3, but by the end, it was really good.
Okay. I haven't watched season 3 yet, so...
it's really good. Really recommend it. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, look, the last episode's fucking banger. So,
Hell
you might have seen some clips or something.
I think
that.
I did, yeah.
So check it out. I actually really, really loved Invincible season 3 a lot.
Okay.
I had a really good time with it.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love that show, except when he cries all the time. I wish he would cry a little bit, like 20% less.
That's good. No, I mean, I'm always of the mindset of just fucking let people cook. I don't mind waiting for a good product, and I know that people are impatient nowadays. And obviously it's a business, so hype is a big factor in terms of whether you can keep continued success. But my mindset as a personal watcher of anime and just entertainment in general is that there is so much shit to occupy my mind. At any certain point, I can wait a year, 2 more years for this really cool thing.
Yeah, it's not like there's nothing we're watching in between that time.
I do think like maybe some of the pushback I feel like comes from the fact that we used to get stuff a bit more consistently. When there was a show coming out, if there was multiple seasons, we'd often just wait 1 year. And now sometimes, I know this is not anime, but like Severance, I know people were like super annoyed that the fact that it's hit like 3 years for season 2 to come out.
Yeah, but I don't know if this is maybe this is a hot take, but
I'm just playing. I'm like trying to explain like the other side. I don't necessarily agree.
I think shows are better now.
I think shows are better now. Like we do have better shows, but I think people are used and have that frame of reference of like when a show is good, we get a season 2 or 3 a year later, and they're not used to waiting.
Because like what would happen before, and I don't know if this is still a thing, but I see this less and less, is that you would have shows like, for example, like House, or fucking Dexter, or like shows like
24.
that, or 24. Shows that you got a new season every year. It was always a constant on television, and my God, did it fucking drag on?
Oh yeah,
it was basically like a lot of like episodic episodes. There were some really, really good episodes and stuff like that, but for the most part, I look at shows like that, and I look at the more like, in my opinion, tightly written modern shows where it's like things are more compact into seasons. Seasons may take more time, and to me, I can see a quality difference between modern shows.
Oh, for sure.
And a lot of the shows and the yearly shows we got back then.
Absolutely.
But back then, we just didn't have a lot of time,
Yeah.
And then something like Breaking Bad came along, and it was like, wait, we're gonna plan for 5 seasons and only 5 seasons. And I can't think of like many other shows before Breaking Bad that just had that kind of philosophy.
But Breaking Bad didn't have long breaks between seasons, if I recall correctly. I don't think it was that long. Can we check, actually? I'm actually curious now. But, I think TV shows are just better now, for sure.
Definitely.
But I think there is, like 3 years. Is 3 years too long?
I think 3 years is a good amount of time for a production.
Yeah, it was like pretty much every year.
Yeah, damn, it was every year.
Yeah. But I do find myself, and like, is this a criticism of me as a consumer? I don't know, but sometimes I do find myself like, after 3 years, I do get to the point where it's just not been in my life for 3 years, to the point where I can just move on and be like, you know what? Like, I don't care. Like,
Right.
I've waited so long that I'm okay. Like if it wasn't like Severance is amazing, so I'm more than happy to wait.
Yeah.
Because I've been singing its praises since I watched it, and I thought it was amazing. But there are occasionally shows that maybe didn't grip me as much as Severance, because that felt like a very much once in a 5-10 year kind of show.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the thing, right? Where it's like it probably didn't leave as much of an impact on you as like what you initially thought.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why after 3 years, you're like, I mean, I could give or take.
But then I also think that like 3 years in development, that also sounds super fucking expensive.
Yeah, it
that
does.
sounds like a lot more money on the table with these shows. And
Yeah.
I don't, you have to, I feel like a bit concerned. I'm like, I don't want shows to just become like insanely expensive things that always take forever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like there is some valid criticisms to taking too long with the show, but at the same time, I would much rather just let them cook. And
I think the other thing as well is that if there is so much time in between, say, seasons or whatever, the expectations for that next thing to be good just keeps increasing, right? So it becomes a double-edged sword.
Well, this is like a kind of a Silk Song situation.
Yeah.
Like Hollow Knight, where it's like, I think Hollow Knight Silk Song, which you probably have heard more about this fucking thing than the game itself.
Yeah.
Which is the fact that this is DLC that they've promised to make.
Supposedly it's coming out this year.
They say that every fucking year, Joe. It's fucking weird. Silk, and maybe it will be out. Maybe about this time. And knowing our luck, it'll be announced in between this episode.
Yeah, probably tomorrow.
Because that's just how our luck goes.
Yeah.
But like, I think sometimes when you announce something, which I think is the hard part, or like when people expect something, and then too much time passes, the expectations almost overtake anything that could possibly be delivered.
Yeah.
Because they're like, why is it taking... How long has it been in development for now, Silk Song? Like, the expectations outlive anything that you could ever deliver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You basically have to just do Hollow Knight 2 at this point.
Yeah.
The size of like how long people will be waiting for this thing, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, which is like for a DLC that's kind of
ridiculous.
It's kind of long.
It's pretty long.
But like, people like let them cook.
Yeah. I mean, people still
like,
hype for it.
It does get to the point where you're like, is there anything they can deliver that will match the hype now?
Yeah.
Is there like I don't know. Like,
I don't want empty promises. You know?
I don't know if it can reach it. It kind of becomes its own self-fulfilling prophecy of like suffering.
It's like no matter what you release, it might not ever actually live up to the hype.
Because people don't even know Hollow Knight don't know anything about this game, but they know about this.
Yeah,
and like that's a problem. That shouldn't be. Like that's not normal.
It's like the Half-Life 3 effect,
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Well, you're like, hey, no way we got this for GTA 6, but people know GTA 6 will come out.
Yeah, exactly.
So like that's like people don't actually like think that way about it. You know?
Totally. Hold the phone, ladies and gentlemen, because it's ad time. That's right, because this episode is sponsored by Shopify. You guys know Trash Taste. Every now and then we drop some pretty dope ass merch, and there's still a lot more to come, don't worry. But the first time we decided to drop merch, we thought, damn man, where are we gonna sell all these? I didn't know how to run an e-commerce platform at the time. Neither did God, neither did Connor. No one knew how to do it. Thankfully though, there was Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. Plus, Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. You can easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. Because boys, if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. So what are you waiting for? Turn your big business ideas into money, ladies and gentlemen, with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/trash. That's shopify.com/trash. Go to shopify.com/trash. Back to the episode.
So I just came back from Thailand, and every household in Thailand has one of these.
Oh my god, I can smell yours.
Yeah,
that's so fucking strong.
Basically, it's
holy shit.
I mean, my nose is blocked as fuck from the hay fever.
so open it. So open it.
You're like,
Whoa.
you seen that clip of that Joe Rogan clip? When it's that guy who's like, "What's the smelling salts? I never smelled them before. Let me smell them." And he gets like a big whiff, and he goes like,
I love this shit.
Holy shit.
So
Oh my God.
So basically, this
I'm
is
high as balls.
this
Clearing out my
is
sinuses.
yeah, this is for like clearing out sinuses, for colds, and for like car sickness as well. Because if you ever feel queasy, you take a whiff of this, and you're like, oh, okay.
Feels
Okay, feel a
fucking
lot better.
amazing.
I fucking love this shit.
What's in this?
I have no
Okay,
idea.
it's a Thai classic. What is it?
Some Thai herbs. You
I
can
will
probably
say that this is something you shouldn't be carrying around.
Jerry got a 5 gram on him.
That looks like a bud.
But yeah, every Thai household has one, so I thought I'd give you boys one.
Relieve dizziness, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of like relieves dizziness.
Yeah,
just
actually,
because the smell is so.
This is helping my sinuses a lot because my
yeah.
hay fever has been so bad recently.
I went
Yeah.
to Hokkaido for 2 days just to chill, and I got to tell you guys about this because it's changed my life.
Okay.
my viewpoint. I went to this onsen in Noboribetsu, which is one of the famous big onsen towns in Japan. I highly recommend going there if you're in Hokkaido. You may as well. It's very beautiful. I stayed in an onsen, and in this onsen, in the outdoor area, they had a place where you could like buy beers and sit in the onsen.
What?
Which I've never seen before.
That sounds hype as fuck.
And like, look, that
incredible.
makes me sound like an alcoholic. I'm like, that's so sick. But, dude, getting in that hot bath with a beer, it was next level. I just gotta tell you, boys.
In winter as well?
I just
In
gotta tell you,
winter?
boys, it
Yo,
exists.
give me the
It
address.
exists. It
I
exists.
thought this was like the forbidden land
It's
in
crazy.
Japan.
I mean,
I've
you can
never
only
seen
really
it.
do that in like private onsens, right?
And normally, yeah, it was like a public
normally.
onsen. And dude,
Damn.
and so I went to this like door, and I it's like a little window where you could get the beers, and you just had to give your like room number.
Yeah.
And I ordered the beer, and I was like, onsen, harimasu ka? And she was like, oh, harimasu. Like, you can go in the onsen. I was like, really? Really? She's like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a woman. By the way, I'm naked, by the way, while I'm ordering this. It's like a 50-year-old, 60-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Taking my order. I'm just naked. I'm like, can I get a beer? Yeah, it's this room. It's very unusual, very Japan. And then they give you a little floaty tray
Yeah.
that you can put the tray.
Oh, you got
hell
that?
yeah.
There's the floaty tray.
I ended up putting it on the side because it was a bit,
Yeah.
A bit
dicey.
wobbly,
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
bit
yeah.
wobbly. And so I'm rocking up with the beer, and it was like all the Japanese people look at me like, what? Nani?
You can do that?
They're like, what? You can enter the onsen with it? And that's when I was like, that's why I double checked. So I was like, I couldn't see anyone else who had a beer.
Yeah.
And I was like, you sure? She's like, yeah, go in with the beer. Sat down, and everyone was like, damn.
I will say though, just a preference, drinking a lot in an onsen is actually quite dangerous. One beer is fine.
yes.
One beer is fine,
Yeah.
but you don't want to like
one beer is
get
fine.
Yeah.
shit-faced
Also-
in an onsen. That's dangerous.
99% of onsens absolutely like forbid drinking alcohol in the onsen as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
will not let you.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is why when I saw it, I was
Yeah.
like, ain't no way.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because occasionally when you're in there and you're pruning away, you're like,
Yeah.
man, one beer would go crazy.
That is true. That would.
It's the first.
Well, yeah,
beer.
I just want that first sip of
Yeah.
the crisp refreshing
For sure.
with the foam. And it went crazy. It was phenomenal.
that is dare I say peak.
It was I've never been so relaxed in one moment in my life.
Hell yeah.
And then I just did like 19 cold plunges in the onsen, in the bath and sauna. It was amazing.
Nice.
And they like, oh, so good.
Is this for a video or did you
I just went for
found
fun.
it? Oh,
Oh yeah, just found it. Just
found it.
Well, yeah, it was like there's this like 2-story onsen. Like it was 2 floors. It was crazy. It was like a giant Roman bath looking thing. I'll send you the link of it.
That's cool.
It's a really cool onsen. I don't think there's a couple of hotels in Noboribetsu, but it's the one that's closest to the Hell's Valley. So if you look
Oh,
on,
yeah,
if you-
yeah, okay,
whenever you
yeah,
go to Noboribetsu, just stay at the hotel closest to the Hell's Valley, and there's a like giant onsen.
Yeah.
You stopping
Highly
there for your
recommend
cyclothon?
Actually, no, sadly not, because this cycle
All right,
fun.
I've got to reschedule my appearance.
You
for
could
the
go right
cyclothon.
after though, if you wanted to. You could like hit up Sydney. 'Cause
You know,
While you're up there.
We're
Yeah.
turning away. We're taking the ferry at Tomakomai, which is the
Yeah.
town before Noboribetsu.
right.
So if you want, you can cycle up to Tomakomai.
No,
and be
actually,
like,
I'm
"I'll see you
busy
guys."
during your cyclothon, Connor. I think I got to cancel my appearance.
No,
I have places to be.
so fire, so fire. It was so fucking good, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
So peak.
Very
I
nice.
just wanted to tell you guys about that, just so you know it existed.
I mean, I went to Noboribetsu when we did Journey Across Japan. I don't think we went to that one though. If we knew about it, Chris would have definitely been like, "Joey, I got a great place to go."
And I told Chris, I was like, Chris, by the way, this exists. And he was like, oh, yes, I've been to a couple. I'm like, no, you haven't. I've never seen this.
Yeah.
I've been to
That's
so
a lie
many
because we
fucking
would have at
onsens.
least seen one video from
And
him.
he would have mentioned it.
Yeah, he would have
Yeah.
absolutely
And I know
mentioned
that you can have drinks in your own private onsen.
Yes.
Everyone knows this. Like,
Yeah.
this is like, if it's your onsen in your room, yeah, you can have
Yeah.
any drinks you want. But there's something about being like getting it served to you.
Yeah.
In
you know,
public as well.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
public around everyone out. Like, it was sick.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's different.
It's like, oh, I know a couple of places. I was like, where? He's like, oh, you know.
Oh, really? Name
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, I didn't believe him. I was like, I've never seen this, Chris. And you know the reason why I think they did this? I think because in this hotel, it was like, there was a lot of Japanese people, but it's mostly Chinese people.
Oh.
So I feel like it must have been for tourists that they changed this.
Right,
And it was
right.
only allowed in the outside bath.
Oh,
Which,
okay.
which I didn't mind because I was like, I would only really want to do this in the outside bath.
Yeah. I feel like if it's the inside bath, the beer would get very warm very quickly.
Yeah, it would not be.
Yeah.
It was not very.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. So yeah, I
Hell
think
yeah.
that's why, because maybe it's a lot more focused on tourists, this
Yeah.
hotel, as opposed to catering to Japanese people.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nobody Betsu, go check it out. Cool area anyway, just to go to in general.
Yeah, because it doesn't really seem like I like Noboribetsu, but it definitely doesn't seem like a touristy location. I feel.
I was kind of surprised. There was I've been around quite a lot of Hokkaido, and this one, there was so many Chinese people. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
In the bath, it was like always Chinese.
Hell yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I didn't see any other white people though. No, not that I like it matters. I was just like,
Yeah.
I was just curious. I was like, because it's interesting how the tourism splits. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you go to certain areas and it'll be like only white people, and you
Yeah.
go to some
Yeah.
areas and it's like only Chinese people, and you're like, what's going on with the marketing here? Like, why is this one crushing it in China and not crushing it here?
I think it's because most people, or I don't know, does China have an onsen culture?
That's a good question. Actually, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
My-
China. They probably do.
Probably,
they have
yeah.
everything, you
True.
know?
I mean, it's a huge country.
It's,
so-
it's
Yeah.
a fucking massive country.
Okay, they
They
do.
have bathhouses.
Yeah.
Bathhouses. Okay.
Oh, natural hot springs. Oh, they do.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
they do. So that probably makes sense then.
Maybe that's why then.
Maybe that's why.
I mean, Nobody Betsu is really cool, but kind of annoying to get to if you if you're not driving.
Yeah. I mean, you can say that about basically 95% of Hokkaido.
Yeah, I mean, Hakodate, Asakawa, and Sapporo are probably easy, but that's
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Everything else is
Other than
kind of
that, you need
shit.
a car.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, some hotels will arrange buses and transport for you,
Yeah.
but it is a lot of effort, and you got to be at a certain place at a certain time, and it normally means you're less rigid.
For sure, for sure.
Still trying to tell people to rent cars in Japan more.
Yeah.
When they come here, go
Yeah.
and check out some other cool shit.
I mean, especially if it's their first time, they're probably not going to do that, you know? It's
yeah,
it's intimidating.
First time for sure. I don't think you should, because you should do the classics.
Yes.
And then second time, third trip,
Yeah.
rent a car, go and do some cool stuff.
I think maybe the other reason why is because, like, you know, Noboribetsu is not in the top
it's like-
10 for most
Yeah.
people, right? And if
No,
you're coming
no.
from China, it's relatively cheap than, say, America or Europe. So
Yeah,
that's probably
true,
another
true.
reason why.
Yeah.
Although I do say that, but the last time I was in Hokkaido and we were in Kushiro during Journey Across Japan, Chris and I were in an onsen, and it was like quite late at night, and there was just like one other dude sitting there in the onsen. He was like an American guy.
Oh wow.
And yeah, he like it's so awkward because like he was already sitting out there, and then Chris and I walked in, and I could feel him looking at me the entire time, and I was like, oh, maybe it's because, you know, I think he was like Chinese American or Chinese Canadian, something like that. But just, you know, without having heard him speak, he looked like a Chinese guy.
yeah.
Right? So I was like, you know, oh, maybe he's looking at us because, you know, we were like talking and, you know, maybe being a little bit loud. I don't know. And then he was just suddenly like, you're Joey and Chris, aren't you? In the most like American Canadian accent. And I was just like, well, that's awkward. You've been staring at my dick for the past 20 minutes. Can you at least say something quickly? And he was like, oh, sorry, man. I don't have my glasses on, so I couldn't figure it out. So I had to hear your guys' voice and be like, I think that's them.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Motherfuckers squinting in the onsen being like,
Yeah, being like, is that them? I don't know.
I'd be offended if someone was squinting at me in the onsen. Is
Yeah.
my penis that small? Why would you
I was like hiding it away.
I
It's
was
like,
like,
stop. Stop
you
looking
should
at
be
me.
opening your eyes much wider than that.
Please. It's just so small.
I played Bioshock for the first time.
oh,
That was
shit.
hype.
You never played Bioshock?
No, I didn't know anything.
Original or infinite?
Original.
Oh, shit.
That's fun.
Okay.
I didn't know
That's a
anything
great
about
game.
the twist or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was fucking hype.
That's one of the, like, I don't know if it still holds up today.
Oh
it's
yeah,
been a
it
while.
fucking holds up.
Yeah, it's
It's
one of the
so
greatest
fucking
plot
good.
twists as well.
Yes, dude,
Yeah.
the story was phenomenal.
Did you know there was a twist?
I'd heard about one of the games having a twist. I didn't know which one.
Okay.
I'm surprised I never heard of it because it's one of the most, like, infamous, like, plot twists in
Yeah,
video
I know
games.
that everyone says the story is amazing and
Yep.
the ending is amazing. And
Yep.
I didn't
Yeah.
really know why. And so I've never been spoiled on it. So I was actually
Oh,
sort
nice.
of pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I had a feeling something was happening, like as I got closer to the big twist in Bioshock.
Yeah.
And then I had a feeling I was like, okay, something feels like they're giving me a couple of crumbs here, and I feel like something's about to change.
Yeah.
If you haven't played Bioshock, don't worry about it. You can play it, or you can just.
I haven't played it.
You haven't?
Actually, no.
You should. It's a great fucking game.
Well, it's set like.
I'm one of those motherfuckers that got spoiled on the twist though. So,
Oh, damn.
I'm like, what? You know when you get spoiled on something, you're like, shit. Do I play this now? Do I fucking play this now?
It is one of the games where I would say knowing the twist would have changed how I interacted with it dramatically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think not knowing the twist is good. But then you could also play Bioshock 1. I heard 2 and 3 also are amazing. People argue that they're 2 is equally as good.
Yeah, Infinite just gets like insanely
I don't know anything, don't tell
confusing.
me.
I don't know anything about Infinite either.
Yeah.
So Bioshock 1 is just like, it's like set like 1960s, 1950s.
Yeah.
And this eccentric rich guy builds a country under the water.
Yeah.
in
The world
Rapture.
building is so cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's like no laws. And scientific freedom to do any fucked up experiment you want. And obviously that quickly devolves. And
Also, some scenes are like genuinely scary.
fucking cinema. It's like cinema
Yes.
the game.
Yeah.
It was really cool how like playing it, seeing the limitations of the console at the time and seeing how they worked around it. But must have been one of the first examples I can recall of like voice acting being that fucking good in a video game.
Oh.
Yeah, probably.
The voice acting is
'Cause fuck,
phenomenal.
when did Bioshock 1 come out?
2006, I think, if I could be mistaken.
God damn.
I mean, that was back when
2007.
2007.
Jesus.
I'm wondering what else came out in that kind of like era of gaming. Because when did stories in games start to get really fucking immersive?
Well, what you mean, like the full voice acting? Animation?
Yeah, full voice acting animation.
I'd say it was
around
probably
this
around
time.
this time.
Around
Yeah.
this time. Because I also just played.
Assassin's Creed.
Oh, Assassin's
Portal,
Creed.
Mass Effect, Halo 3,
Okay, yeah, it was around this
Mario
time.
Galaxy,
then.
the GOAT.
I feel like Half-Life, obviously, like kind
Yeah,
of was a
Half-Life
big-
changed
big
a lot.
catalyst for that
Yeah,
change.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I just played Final Fantasy X as well.
Oh,
Did
you
you
finished
like
it?
Yeah, I loved it. It was really
Hell
fun.
yeah,
It
dude.
was so fucking fun.
Yeah, it's such a good
How's
game.
it rank on the Final Fantasy rankings?
Oh, man, I've been thinking about
Don't
this
worry.
so much.
Anything you say, someone's going to disagree with.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it so much. You haven't played any of them, have you? have you
Only
played?
Final Fantasy 16?
The newest one.
The newest one.
16, yeah.
And
16.
you've played.
I played all of them except for 11, the MMO, and 14.
So you've played like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I played all of them, yeah.
What? What the
But
fuck?
I grew up with the series
Right,
because my
right.
cousin is like a huge Final Fantasy nerd.
So 10 is like the first time in Final Fantasy where they had like voice acting, and and I think that's like out of the 42 hours of story, 10 hours of cutscenes. It's quite a lot of cutscenes.
Yeah.
And the cinematics to this day look fucking
They look
incredible.
amazing.
They're
Yeah,
so good.
they held up
Yeah.
so well. Phenomenal game. Loved it. Looking like the story, I cried at the end because it was so fucking good. It was amazing. I really, really liked the story, and it was nice to have a Final Fantasy story that wasn't stupidly convoluted. It was probably one of the least convoluted Final Fantasy stories.
Probably,
Which
yeah.
doesn't say a whole lot. Because,
Yeah.
like, look, I fucking love the Final Fantasy games, and I've loved it. But we have to admit, as Final Fantasy fans, that the stories, sometimes they're a bit weird.
Yeah, they do, most...
JRPG fans. I don't think it's a Final Fantasy thing. I think it's a lot of JRPGs.
But I feel
actually.
Final Fantasy especially, like most, if not all mainline Final Fantasy games, if we're going with a straight line of the story, it's just kill God.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are just like, all right, so here is the kill God ending, here's
Yeah.
the beginning of the story, and we're just gonna fucking like go around as many times as possible.
It's like there's so much. And there's always like a part in these games often where there's one big plot twist that reveals a bunch of information of like, you're like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
I do like how 10 though is like kind of just like the...
It's like the least weird out
It
of
is the
all
least
of the
weird.
stories. It's like there is some aspect of it that's a little odd or unusual, but like it never felt like it was getting away from what the story was trying to tell.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. I think looking back, it was definitely a lot more linear than the other games. You don't get to like explore as much. It's go here, go here, go here.
Did you enjoy playing Blitzball?
Fucking hate Blizzard. Blizzard fucking sucks.
It's everyone's least favorite part of the game.
Everyone was like, you just need to learn the rules. I'm like, the rules are fucking dumb.
Yeah, they're
I don't
so
want to fucking
dumb.
learn the rules.
It's the worst part of
Fucking
10.
Blizzard fucking sucks.
All I remember about Blitzball was my cousin complaining because I've never played Final
Fucking
Fantasy X.
sucks, bro.
Yeah.
But my cousin complained about playing it every time it
Everyone
came on.
does. Everyone does.
I only played it the one time I had to, and I didn't touch it again. So
Yeah.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
No,
this.
you're
It's-
psychotic
it's
if you willingly play Blitzball in that game.
best battle system I think in Final Fantasy yet.
Yep.
From 6 to 10 that I played. I
Yep.
think it was my favorite one. The battle system was phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely like cleaned up a lot from 7 and 8.
I don't know why, but I still think I like 9 and 6 a bit more.
Okay.
But I think 10 story-wise might be my favorite story.
Yeah, 10 is definitely a crowd favorite.
I think
Yeah, 7, 9, and 10 are the crowd favorites.
dude, the more I think about 6, the more I think like 6 was kind of peak. 6 was kind of like
I'm
amazing.
telling you, bro, 6 is peak.
Dude, there's a boss battle in 6 that is just so fucking good.
The Kefka one?
Yeah, it's
Oh
fucking
my god!
godlike.
And Dancing Mad is one of the greatest boss
Yes.
themes ever created. It's
So
so
good.
good. I'm
That
so
was the
glad
one-
you like that.
That was the one thing I was kind of disappointed with in 10. Sorry, go on. I'll wrap up in a second.
No.
I feel bad.
It's fine.
I feel like a lot of Final Fantasies and JRPGs, I feel like the final boss fight matters so much.
Yes.
In like how the story wraps up.
Yeah.
And more importantly, how like the mechanics of the boss fight. Like what is the boss's like main way of fighting you? So in 6, it's like 4 stages of fucking more intense. It gets really hard. And it's an amazing challenge. And there's no crazy mechanic way you have to do certain things. He just fucking kills you fast.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, that's all it needed to do.
Yeah.
And in 7, you have the Sephiroth fight, which is amazing, and the fucking animations, and it's so good.
Yep.
8, I forgot the one in 8, I'll be honest. No, 8 had like the fucking, it's the school, you fight that like 7 stages. It's ridiculous. It's so long. There's so many stages to the
Fuck,
fight.
I don't remember the 8.
You
final
fight that
boss.
woman thing. I forgot what it was. It's been a while now.
Yeah, it's been a while for me as
And
well.
then 9 is like, The 9 final boss fight. And then 10 was like, okay, look, we have the best fucking boss fight theme,
Yeah.
but the mechanics of the boss fight kind of suck.
9 is definitely the journey is more important than the destination, I feel.
Yeah, because the final villain in 9 sucks.
Yeah. It wasn't very memorable for
But
sure.
everything else about 9 was like the best in a Final Fantasy game.
I agree.
But yeah,
9
sorry.
is
Anyway,
so
sorry.
good.
Final Fantasy rant over. 10 was amazing.
Hell yeah.
There's still not a single Final Fantasy game that I haven't loved
Okay.
and really enjoyed.
So you've played what, 6, 7,
6
8?
to 10.
6 to 10.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do...
Are you going to do 10 too, or you not? You done with 10?
I don't know. It seems kind of
10 2 is
bad.
contentious.
Yeah, it seems kind of bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Girls'
wasn't
night.
a huge fan of 10 2.
Yeah.
That's long.
It is long.
Yeah.
It's long.
Oh, it's also not as good as 10.
No.
Yeah.
I already know it's not. I can tell.
It's not.
I was just going to do...
Okay. Are there any other highly beloved Final Fantasies after 10? Because I feel like, from my perspective, being an outsider,
yeah.
like
No.
people talked about 6, 7, 8,
Yeah,
7, 8, 9,
6 to 10 was like the generational
Yeah,
run
yeah.
for
Everyone was,
Final
and
Fantasy.
then
Yeah, the
afterwards,
generational run.
and then afterwards, after 10, everyone was kind of like, it's just not hitting as
because
much.
I asked Pete about this. Pete is like the lore master of all of this because
Yeah.
he played all of them and was like present. He was telling me that 11 was like an MMO. kind of,
Yeah, 11 wasn't an MMO.
And it was
Right.
bad.
Which is why I didn't play it.
And 12 was like an offline MMO where it was like, it was basically an MMO but solo.
Yeah. Well, 12 I feel, especially recently, has
Yeah.
started getting its praises again,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
with the remake, the Zodiac Age. That was a really good game. It's a bit different from like the mainline Final Fantasies, but
Yeah.
still a really good game.
Yeah.
And then we got 13, which a lot of people...
Always Simulator? That's
yeah,
what I
a
hear.
lot of people
Yeah.
absolutely hated it. I don't think 13 was as bad as people made it out to be.
I think people just didn't like how linear it was.
It
for a
was
Final
quite
Fantasy game.
linear, and also the thing with 13 was that it was such a linear story, and then right basically like before the final boss fight, it's like, okay, here's an open world.
Hmm.
And it's like, well, I don't want to go through the open world. I just want to go and beat the final boss because I've already played this game for 50 fucking hours.
Yeah.
I don't have time or energy to explore an open world after all this time.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I don't think 13 was as bad as people made it out to be. 13-2 and Lightning Returns suck. And I will die on that hill.
3 games about that game. And then 14 was the
14 was the MMO.
MMO,
15 was just Sausage Fest, the game.
which people didn't really like that game much. in
I
hindsight.
didn't like 15 much.
I tried playing 15.
yeah, I finished it, but it wasn't that memorable. Or great,
No one has
really.
anything super positive to say about that game. Everyone's always like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It had potential, but I just feel
I
like
just like the idea of the open world Final Fantasy. That's why I got in, and that's
Yeah.
when it kind of like switched to semi turn based instead of like being
yeah,
truly
and then the
turn-based.
story of 15 was just kind of
and 16,
whatever,
yeah.
and then 16 was also just like it was fine.
You know what? I used to not like turn-based, but now I've like turned around, and now I fucking love turn-based.
Hell yeah, turn-based is where it's at.
Yeah,
I've been playing like Chrono Trigger in 6. You're just like, damn, this fucking works.
Well,
This
you've
is
turned
amazing.
around to it because you've literally played the peak
Yeah,
of
the
the
two
turn-based
best.
games.
Yeah, the two best.
well, the thing is, what I've figured out about turn-based is that I have it sounds counterintuitive, but I have the most fun if I figure out how to make the game trivial.
Yeah,
I don't know if you understand what I mean, but if you figure out you sit down and you figure out the perfect fucking build, right, and then it might take you like an hour or two. You sit down, you like this build sounds kind of broken, and then you try it out and it actually works. And then it kind of like trivializes so much of the game. But for that first fucking bit when you're like, holy shit, I am a god for figuring this out. Because I remember in the Trail series, I figured out what I now have understand is what's called a dodge tank build, because there was this like some enemies that would just like fucking one-shot my entire party. I was like, how the fuck do I get past this boss? How do I do this?
Yeah.
And then I figured out this build where one of my characters would have like close to 100% evasiveness. It would be like a very, very high percentage.
Yeah.
And then you give him like a taunt as well. Yeah. And then you're like, this
you
is,
can't die.
I'm a god. I am a god. This
Nothing
just
can
means
stop me.
this just means that he is a tank. He basically gets one shot if he gets hit. If that 10% of the time when the evasive doesn't work. But you're like, when I figured that out, I was like, holy shit, I'm a fucking god. This feels so amazing. They made the rest of the game easy, but for like that first bit, it was a fucking amazing feeling.
Yeah, for sure. I would say, to end off the Final Fantasy talk, Connor, I would say personally, I don't know if Pete will agree with me on this, but I'd say the only other Final Fantasy mainline game you should probably give a try is 4.
Yeah, everyone says 4.
Yeah,
Everyone says
because
4.
the 4 story is fantastic. Definitely not as good as 6, but still a really, really solid entry.
Yeah, I
Would you
wanna
ever do other JRPGs?
When are you playing
Outside of
Persona, bro?
Final
What?
When are you playing Persona, bro?
Dude, I hated the Persona thing. I didn't like was the whole like, go do nothing, lie down for 2 hours, go to Shiba Station, go home, do nothing. I was like, what is with this?
No, you never do nothing, man.
Yeah, you're always doing
always
something.
doing
Final Fantasy,
something.
it's always moving. Something's always happening. You're moving the story along, and like, someone dies here, you're like, and you recruit this guy to your party. Like, oh shit. Whereas
Yeah, that's the same thing in
Persona's
Persona.
like, dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun,
Persona
go to
is-
bed. Dun,
Yeah,
and then it's
Persona
like,
is like, hey, I'm gonna go out, and in the case of Persona 5, it's like, I'm gonna go out, go see my friend in Shibuya, get a little bit friendlier with him so that he can help me out in the next battle.
Yeah.
That's what's up. It's exactly the same. It's grinding, but not grinding.
they gotta cut down on the time, bro. The time is ridiculous.
Nah.
Were you not saying that like Persona 3 Reloaded was like a bit long?
Okay, Reloaded was a bit long.
Reload was longer because it had more cutscenes.
That's the only reason.
I would say so.
That's cope.
I'd say what was the perfect pace game actually was Metaphor, even though that was like
Yeah, 64 hours.
Yeah.
Not bad.
not bad, not bad.
Bro, that's a work week.
That's one amazing work.
Bro, I mean,
What's Metaphor? What's Metaphor?
I think Metaphor's around the same.
Probably. I beat Metaphor
Because I thought
in
Metaphor was a
80
perfectly
hours.
paced game.
Yeah, 80 to 90 hours. Yeah, I beat in 80.
Yeah, 60 to 70.
60, 70.
Yeah.
60, 70. But I thought out of like Persona 3, Persona 4, and Persona 5, Metaphor, I thought had no point did it ever like drag or have a point
I
where I'm
agree.
like, I don't think this is important for the
How
story.
the fuck are they casually dropping so many 60, 70 hour games?
Because they're the goat.
Like, I feel
Atlas are the goats, that's why.
yeah, like where did this come from? No one spoke about this game, and it just came out, and everyone like, 70 hour game.
Yeah.
Someone had put in
Not
this
only
work.
70-hour game, but I dare say one of the best JRPGs that's come out in a long time.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That's-
yeah,
they keep cooking.
I don't know. I've been enjoying JRPGs. I don't know what to go next. I know that I think I will end up playing Tactics because Pete really wants me
Oh,
to.
Tactics is so
And
good.
I heard the story's phenomenal.
Very good, very good.
But the gameplay obviously is kind of a lot less fun.
more like
to
Fire
watch.
Emblem.
Elden Ring?
I got to do the DLC. Yeah, I got to do the DLC.
I gotta do that as well.
I got to do it. I got to do it. I will do it. I will do it eventually. Got to get around to it. But 10 was peak, so I wanted to play 10. And
How long did it take you to beat?
40 hours.
Oh, that's fast.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
did
mean,
you have speed up, though?
yeah, I had the speed
Oh,
up mod.
okay, yeah,
Well,
that
'cause I
helps.
feel like grinding. 'cause
Yeah,
I was like,
that
yeah,
helps.
yeah.
That helps a lot.
Oh, and I turned on, so, I do think there are some things in older JRPGs, or even now they do it as well too, where they make certain game design choices that force you to grind. And I mean, Pokemon figured this out a while ago. It's just kind of annoying to have to keep swapping your Pokemon out.
Yep.
And it just adds time. And I don't think anyone enjoys doing it.
No.
And so in that Final Fantasy, to level up the characters, you have to keep swapping them in.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking annoying to do. And then in this mod, you could just turn on that everyone gets the XP.
Oh,
and so
okay.
I just turned that on, and it made it so much more fun.
Well, yeah.
Because I was like, oh, this is great. Now I don't have to consciously grind nearly as much.
Well, now you just shaved off like 10 hours of the game.
I think more.
It would have.
You probably shaved like 20 hours.
Yeah.
With the speed up, it would have saved like a crazy amount. I would have had to make more inputs, which I don't.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to do this anyway. Yeah.
Up, down, and A.
It's like, oh, you're cheating, and it's like, bro, what do you want out of this?
Yeah.
What are you playing?
Do you want to watch me grind for 20 hours?
Yeah. Like, what do you like? I don't understand why you want to grind.
Yeah.
Like, I think like there are certain like we're going through the story and the game's quite linear. Why would you want a part of the game we have to stop for 5 hours and fight the
Especially
same
on
mob?
stream as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it makes it more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I enjoyed
I
it
agree.
a lot more. That I kind of
Hell yeah.
went to go through it.
You still playing Monster Hunter?
I have been kind of on and off. But I just haven't really had the time this month, unfortunately, to like actually sit down. Because like, you know, it's fine to play single player and everything. And especially now with this one, you can just like enter a random online lobby and just play with randos. But I want to play with friends. So like if my friends are not on, then I don't really want to like hop on and do anything. And
Yeah.
it's just, you know, everyone's time schedules are different and all that. So I haven't been playing it recently, but my God, it's such a good game. It's so fucking good. Also, the story is like trivial.
Trivial.
It's like Monster Hunter. No one's ever really cared about the story for Monster Hunter.
I did skip through a lot of the cutscenes.
I skipped through all of them.
Yeah.
And my friend, I sat down with him to play. He played Monster Hunter. I think it was for like the first time, and I was just like, bro, don't even worry about the story. Just skip it, and I'll help you.
I'm
with
here
all
for
the-
hunting monsters.
Yeah, I'm here to hunt monsters. He beat the story in less than 2 hours.
What?
If you skip all the cutscenes and just do the fights, it's like literally 2-3 hours.
Oh, right, because then you get to the part of the game where you...
The actual part of the game.
the actual game.
Yeah, because like the story's just there to kind of set up the world, and then once the story is done,
You monster hunt.
then the real game actually begins.
Title card, monster
Yeah,
hunt.
title card Monster Hunter is like now you can play the game. It's a 2 to 3 hour tutorial basically.
I played it for about 4 hours. Played a little bit offline.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot more than the last one I played.
Oh yeah,
Did you play Monster Hunter Worlds
Worlds.
before? Which one's the last one?
Might have been Rise.
Rise was the last one. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, might have been Rise.
Yeah.
But I liked that I wasn't having to... The one thing I didn't like about Monster Hunter for a while was even when you start off the game, you often had to fight the same monster 3 times right away.
Yeah.
Which is like, why am I fighting the same... Final Fantasy doesn't make me fight the same fucking boss 3 times in a row. You know, like, I understand later on you need to grind, and that's part of the game, but I found it weird that they made you grind so early on.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, what? Don't you want to show off
Yeah.
how sick the game is?
That's what I liked about Worlds.
In this one, yeah,
with the Wilds, yeah.
You just... And Wild's great. I only had to refight a boss when I wanted to.
Yeah.
When I was like, oh, I actually want
When I
this
needed a
clothes.
new fit.
Yeah, when I wanted like the Ezio Assassin's Creed fit, I had to go and kill the spider 3 times.
Yeah.
Which I didn't mind because I was like, okay, good. And this boss fight is not like 19 hours long.
Yeah.
So it was,
You're
it
limited
was
to 30
quite
minutes.
fun.
So.
Yeah, and I obviously later on when I'm like 30, 40 hours in, I'm gonna want those big 50-minute fucking chase fest where I gotta like actually think. But like when you get in the game, I'm like, okay, I just want a nice linear. Like let me get into it. Let me learn the mechanics.
Totally.
Yep.
Don't make me fight the same fucking boss 3 times in a row. So I'm glad. I'm really. It was a lot more fun.
Yeah. I'm also like taking my time with it as well because it's not really a game that you want to like rush anyway because again, it's especially after you finish the story and you actually get into the meat of the game, it's like it's a constant thing of like, all right, yeah, hop on, you know, kill a couple of monsters, gather the materials, blah, blah, blah. And then I think they also like do like event quests and stuff like that now. So it's literally like weekly missions and stuff like that they post onto the game.
Yeah.
So it forces you to kind of take your time with the game as well. So I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I just haven't really been playing a lot of games these past couple of weeks. I've just been going out doing stuff, which is the worst time to go out because my hay fever has just been fucking going AWOL.
You're like honking away over there.
Yeah, I'm so fucking blocked up. It's not even funny. So I'm really glad I
this
have
is
this
amazing.
now.
This just smells so good.
It actually it helps me so much.
Oh my god!
This
it
is
smells
what I
amazing.
smell as a kid instead
How long
of
does this
paint.
last?
Oh, quite a while.
Dude, this is amazing.
Yeah, just shove it in my nose, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This
Being an
shit's
adult
so
is
good.
so weird. 'Cause I get so fucking excited about this, and then like you could give me like I don't know, some like a genuine like expensive gift. And I'm like,
Yeah.
on this, I'm like, oh my god.
Yo!
Yeah, because I asked Maylin if she wanted anything from like Southeast
She wanted
Asia.
this.
She was like, "Give me the smelly things. Give me the fucking smelly things." Yeah, you had beer and nonsense, but getting into, I don't know if this is sacrilegious, but I was in Thailand for about a month. Frozen beer. I don't know, man. In a fucking hot climate, it just
Frozen beer.
Wait, so frozen.
beer. So
Like a beer slushy?
So kind of, because okay, so have you seen those videos where water gets like super cooled, right?
Yeah, where they
so,
spin it.
So yeah, it's like liquid form, and
then-
then it comes out, and then it's like instantly frozen
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
slushies. So Thailand's had a lot of that recently. Because as you may have remembered, last time we went to Thailand, they normally you go to a restaurant and you have beer and they give you a
ice.
bucket of ice.
Yeah.
And you know, everyone has their own opinions on that.
Yeah.
I'm not too big of a fan on that.
Ice does not belong in a beer.
Personally, but what if you don't add ice into a beer? The beer is already ice.
No.
And it's
no.
a slushy.
No, I don't agree with this.
It's a
It
slushy.
just doesn't sound
I would
good.
rather room temp beer.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
no,
fucking wild.
No. Okay.
Beer does not need to have anything in
Okay.
it. It should just be a
There is
drink.
nothing less satisfying than like warm beer.
Look, okay,
I agree.
20 Europeans, okay. I understand the disgust you feel like right now, but let me just set the scene, okay. It's a country where the average temperature is at least 34, 35 degrees.
Yeah.
All right. When you go out.
How
Not
hot is
just
it there?
that.
How is it that hot right now there? Like when you were there?
Some days. Some
the fuck?
days.
That's
wild.
Let's see.
I
Let
would
me
just
see.
simply not leave the house. you must feel so like overjoyed being back.
I mean, some days it's nice when you have a breeze, right? It's not the temperature, it's the humidity. As you know from Japanese summer.
Yeah.
As you know from
The
Japanese summer.
wetness.
It is the wetness. So I don't even care about the temperature. I care about the humidity.
Yeah.
It is 35 degrees today. But only 51% humidity.
Oh, okay. So it would actually probably be quite nice.
Yeah.
So
not bad.
probably quite nice. But so that's the average temperature, right? You have two options. You can have a beer that will become room temperature before you reach the halfway point.
Not me.
Before you reach the halfway point.
I'm fucking vortex chugging that shit.
Or you can have a beer that's going to be super, super cold, that is going to stay cold. So you have the two evils. You can either
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's
have
the
room
lesser of
temperature-
two evils.
You can either have room temperature beer or you can have
I
frozen
want to
or
try
in
this
ice
slushy
beer.
first. Let me try this beer.
So actually, there's this new glass that's being used where it's like there's a glass that has gel on like the inside of the glass, right?
Okay.
So you freeze the glass, and then you pour the beer into it, and because the gel was so cold, as you're drinking it, the outer edge of the beer will freeze. And so it kind of like turns
Whoa.
to like half beer, and the longer it goes on, the more like it will keep the beer cold permanently, but also you get these like little bit of like beer slush and beer ice, and it's just a nice
crystallized.
crystallized beer. And
That
I'm
doesn't
like,
sound too bad. That sounds a lot better than what I was envisioning, which was a beer slushy.
Yeah, I was imagining like a 7-Eleven slushy that's
Yeah.
beer flavored.
there is also that as well, where they super freeze the beer, so
Yeah.
like when you pour it out, it just instantly fucking.
Yeah, I don't know if I love that idea. See, it doesn't look appetizing,
No.
but I'm sure
It feels appetizing.
Yeah, I'm sure it feels appetizing.
You don't
I've
understand.
never been one for slushies. I always feel like they're the worst form of a drink.
Why?
why.
Why? I feel like
Slushies are the best.
because oftentimes
What about smoothies?
a smoothie's amazing.
What's the difference between a smoothie and a slushie?
Maybe I'm in the minority in this thought, but like when I have a slushie, often when you go to the cinema in the UK, they always had slushies. So I used
Yeah.
to, I'd get them, and the first couple of sips would be phenomenal
Yeah.
because you're like, oh my god, I'm getting all the flavor, and then you get to the point where you've kind of ran out of liquid, and then it's just getting to ice, and you're like, am I supposed to eat this now, or do I just wait for it all to dissolve?
Yeah, I do that
correct.
thing. I do that thing where I pour it down, and then I do like the
Yeah.
get the
Yeah,
ice
but
out
often
off
like there's
the
quite
bottom.
there's quite a lot of ice still. I feel like in slushies.
But then you just get like the nice little crunch. With,
Yeah,
with
then
the
you can
ice.
chew on some ice.
Yeah,
I
chew on some
don't-
ice.
No, I don't. I'm not a Neanderthal. I don't need that in my life.
you get the nice little texture.
Yeah.
You know.
So
Because-
I find that the slushies in an awkward spot of
What's
not
your
belonging.
opinion of shaved ice?
I hate shaved ice. I fucking hate shaved ice. I hate it so much.
Hate is a strong word.
I hate it. And people are like, let's get kakigori. No. Let's get a real dessert. Let's get gelato. Let's get ice cream.
Even bingsu?
What the fuck is bingsu?
Bingsu is like the Korean like shaved ice, but it is
I don't think I've had that.
so fine. Oh my god, bingsu is so good. It's so fine that it's basically snow. So with Japanese shaved ice, it's like, still you can feel the crunch in this.
Yeah.
With bingsu, it is basically like you are eating the finest snow you can
like,
possibly get. And
it's-
this shit slaps, man.
For, like,
I love this shit.
One spoon, sure, it's a nice flavor. But after that, I'm kind of like, the texture doesn't do it for me. The flavor often is just sweet syrup. And it's often not like ice cream. I find the flavor is like really nicely mixed.
Right.
Whereas with shaved ice, it's ice plus syrup.
Yeah.
And I don't really like how that flavor feels.
You don't like the flavor of the syrup?
No, often I don't really like syrupy things.
Right.
In general. Like I'm not a big fan of like putting syrup on like pancakes or whatever the fuck it is. Like I don't think syrup and syrupy kind of.
What do you put on pancakes then?
I just have them on their own.
Hold on. You have dry ass pancakes?
Well, sometimes you get cream or ice cream.
That's like eating a mattress.
No.
Wait, you don't put anything on pancakes?
Well, that's why I also don't eat pancakes often.
Not even like whipped cream or.
No, whipped cream.
Like butter
Whipped cream
even?
Butter 100%. Love butter on
Okay, well
pancakes.
that's not nothing.
Well, yeah, but it's like no syrup.
Yeah, no, but you made it sound like you raw dog pancakes.
Well, if I'm given a pancake and there's only syrup, I'm like, I'm good.
Now, pancakes need to have something.
Yeah,
sweet.
I mean, butter is peak.
I fucking hate savory pancakes. I cannot. Pancakes should not be savory. Pancakes
I'm
should
not
be
arguing
sweet.
this with you, Garn.
They should be
stooping
sweet.
to your level.
They should be sweet.
But I also think like I'm gonna say I think pancakes are generally just mid as fuck.
I agree with that.
I think pancakes are one of the. Not only is it like one of the most calorifically dense desserts, it just doesn't feel worth the trade off of like.
Breakfast.
Fuck no, it's not
Americans be
breakfast.
like, "Yeah, dessert? Hold on
Yeah.
a second. What?
Yeah, I mean like. It's so much fucking food often as well.
Yeah.
And it's like dessert, I often just want a little bit. I want like a little light thing. I don't want a whole fucking like cement block of calories, which is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you like pancakes that much? You got to admit, it's in like a mid tier of desserts.
For me,
at
it's like
best.
for me, it's like maybe like a 2-3 times a year kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where like, I'll order like a big thing of pancakes and then maybe like share it with Aki.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to be like, oh, I feel like pancakes today.
That's why I like the ones that they have in Asia and Japan quite a lot because it's more like a cake or a souffle.
Yeah.
Which I think is just I'm like actually
No,
I just cake.
I like the fluffy ones.
Yeah, which is like it's like getting close to cake
It's
at that
basically
point.
a sponge cake.
And I'm like, I like that. I like
Yeah.
cake. Like, when it's like a thick rubbery, like congealed like sack. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, sometimes you just have a pancake and you're like, I think I'd rather just like eat a frisbee, Like just, sometimes the consistency just throws me off so much.
Yeah, no, not for me.
I
Not for
don't
me.
get the Americans' obsessions with pancakes.
Hey, they let them have it. They keep,
I'll let you have it.
I'll let them have it.
Let them have it.
Except
Yeah.
for breakfast. That is one thing I don't understand.
I'm just a breakfast hater all around.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, same. I don't care much for breakfast.
Coffee is the best breakfast.
Agreed.
It's
Agreed.
the best breakfast. Or I can just wait till lunch normally.
Yeah.
Coffee and a nice banana. That's all I need.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I just
A croissant maybe.
Bananas on pancakes though.
Sure.
yes. Fruit pancakes I actually
Fruit
like.
pancakes.
Yeah.
Just rather the fruit. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's true.
just give me the fruit.
Yeah, that's
just
true.
give me the
Just
fucking
give me a
banana.
banana.
Just give me the banana.
But I haven't been watching anything new, but I've been going back. I've been going back and actually watching stuff recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Me and Sydney went back and we watched Harry recently.
Oh shit!
Just to see how well that aged.
First season
Yeah, first season.
and
God. There are some things that have aged well.
yeah,
There are so many things that have not aged well at all.
I'm sure.
Okay. When you were first watching Harry, Was she as annoying? Did you register Haruhi as being really fucking annoying?
Yeah.
Haruhi's fucking
That's
annoying.
why I never really like liked Haruhi as a character, even while I was watching it. Everything else I liked about it, but yeah, she was always kind of annoying, which is why like when people were like, "Yo, Haruhi, I love the Haruhi series and Haruhi's my favorite character," I'm like,
Yeah.
you need help."
Cope.
Cope, that's Cope.
Do you know what was so weird going back and watching Haruhi is?
Yeah.
Just seeing Haruhi as a character and just seeing how many personalities it helped shaped.
Oh yes, she founded the what the fuck was the trope name? Kamidare.
Kamidare?
Yeah, that's like the new, like, you know, there's like tsundere.
God dare?
Kumidare.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
What does that mean?
Kamidare dares who have a god complex.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's an actual thing?
That's a real thing. And Haruhi
shit.
is the one who started it.
She's the face of it all.
She's the face of Kamidare.
Yeah.
How dare her.
And I'm just not into that archetype.
Top pages this week. Yandere. Damn. Always
okay.
on top.
Always.
Yandere Dere is second? What the fuck?
So fucking good.
No, because like I going back and watching this, I was like, okay, first off, me and Cindy just had a big fucking nostalgia trip. Second off, I'm just like, damn, she doesn't stand out now as much anymore. But I was just trying to think, because like going back and watching this, she gives off such the energy of like, I'm not like other girls, you know, tee-hee, I'm so quirky, I'm not like other girls. And then you think about it back then, I'm like, shit, back then she really wasn't like other girls.
No.
She was this shit was revolutionary.
Exactly.
And now everyone's trying to have like their own quirk, their own like weirdness to them.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like Haruhi. There's a reason why Haruhi is just like such a timepiece, because, you know, so many characters now are pretty much based off of Haruhi.
Yeah.
Haruhi ran so all these other Kamidares could walk, dude.
Also made me think, like, if we had the modern anime community today, how insufferable would some of these old anime have been with the modern day anime community, man? With the modern day fucking Twitter spoiler ass communities and all this kind of shit. Imagine trying to keep up with Death Note if we had the weekly discussions we did today,
God.
man.
I don't even want to think about it. That genuinely sends a shiver down my spine just thinking about it.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm totally fine with that.
Like you literally just like you would get spoiled before every single week, before every new episode comes out, man.
You'd find out like L dies like 2 months before it actually happens.
Right?
He dies? I thought he went on vacation. What the fuck?
He went to the Bahamas. Never came back.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Before someone comments, it's too late. If you've been spoiled by that, you should have watched Death Note by now.
Yeah. You had like what, 20 years?
I in my head, it's in the same realm as like the Sixth Sense. They were dead all along, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Spoiler.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like I didn't even watch the movie, but I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, that's fair game. That's pop culture. I should have known that.
Yeah.
like it's on me.
Oh my
Do you
god.
remember what show, or it doesn't have to need to be anime, what show or game you thought was your peak when you were like 13, 14?
Bro, I thought Hannah Montana was like the fucking peak of my life when I was like. 13.
Did you like unironically?
I unironically was obsessed
Not a
with it.
meme.
Not a meme. Like I unironically was obsessed with like the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
And Hannah Montana was like 13.
So okay, then in that case, as a long time Hannah Montana glazer, what?
Okay, well, hold on, man.
Of trash
I'm
taste.
not a long time.
Of trash
place.
taste.
There was a period of my life where I was a.
Did your homies know
glazer.
about this?
No, I couldn't tell. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding? I told my friends. By the way, I was already getting bullied for playing COD.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
they were all playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think I could tell them I was watching Hannah Montana? And that I knew the hoedown throwdown.
What if they were also secretly like really into it?
I mean, that's the thing about kids. They all were pretty into something dumb.
Of course.
They could have been made fun of. Of
course.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's what growing up is, and
That's-
learning
yeah.
not to give a fuck.
Oh my god, that's the most like fucking frustrating thing now as an adult that I see. Like,
I felt dumb about this, and everyone else had.
yeah, that like kids today go through, where they're like, oh, you know, they almost feel like embarrassed or whatever to be like into a really, really, you know, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, subjectively shitty thing, or like something that you shouldn't be into. And it's like, bro, that's like the perfect time to get into all sorts of dumb shit.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I think it's like in early 2000s and early 2010s, but mainly late 2000s. I feel like
Yeah.
where like Disney Channel like had like was at like its peak.
Yeah.
In terms of, I felt like it was at its peak at least for the Disney image.
Yeah.
In terms of like young adults, to me, I think it just catered to the part of my brain that was like, man, it just seems so fun. They're just fucking like doing a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm stuck in a fucking field in Wales. And then I would watch them do this like sports day thing with all these actors that were on the shows that I liked.
yeah.
And I think like, wow, this was just so cool.
How did you get into Hannah Montana? I never asked you.
I don't know. I think like, that's a very valid question.
What was your first exposure to Hannah Montana? Was it on TV?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think like for me, I think as a confused 13-year-old boy in terms of like I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do in life.
Sure.
And I and this is it's around the age where everyone kind of starts putting pressures on you to start thinking about things.
Yeah.
Even though
They start putting pressures on you to have a
direction.
Yeah,
like they want you to know, like even if you're not like I want to be an astronaut, not like that. But I mean like I feel like even like parents or teachers, they want to know what type of kid you are.
Yeah.
They want to know, are you the science kid? Are you this kid?
Are you the artsy kid? Are you the sporty kid?
And like for me, it was like almost even decided before I even joined high school, like which kids were like the theater kids.
Yeah.
And I almost like, because I wasn't a theater kid in primary school, I almost wasn't like allowed to join the theater, I felt like. And I when I tried to, it was kind of, felt like I got a bit of pushback where they're like, well, we're not going to cast you or anything because you're not one of the like theater kids. Not that, and also I was pretty dog shit as well. But like I was never given the opportunity.
Did you want to be a theater kid though?
I wanted to like try theater. Like I wanted to, because I thought it looked fun.
Yeah.
Like, it looked interesting. And I would watch all these TV shows and I would think like, man, it looks so fun. And I wanted to try, but then I felt like there was never that environment that, because I didn't start the moment I was at the first opportunity, I was kind of not given a space to try.
Right.
Which I feel like is kind of rough as a kid because you can't communicate that. You're not like, hey, I just want to try this. But what you get is like, oh no, we just don't think you're a good fit for this or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, all right, fine. I'll just move on. Like, but I think for this was kind of like that kind of, and Hannah Montana was, I guess, I don't know why this show in particular resonated with like 13-year-old me so much. I think I liked the idea that she was in school, but also doing shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think I was like,
she was on the grind.
She was on that grind. Because I was like, that's so cool that she's just like me. She's in school.
Yeah.
But she's like also like
double life.
She's also like doing so much cool shit.
Yeah.
I think I wish I could like do that. Because I'd go to school and I'd be like, I've got half it down. Everything else sucks though. Like, I'm doing half of the Hannah Montana. Why is the good half? You know, like
yeah.
And so I think I just I don't know, something about it. I was just so jealous, I think, and like I wanted to live this life where I could live this boring life, but then also do like this cool, amazing stuff that I never got to do.
Yeah.
And I know it's so weird that Hannah Montana, of all things, kind of gave me that the most. Because I watched like a High School Musical, and I'd be like, that's fun, but like didn't really feel like I ever like it made sense.
Yeah.
But for some reason, this fucking show as a kid permeated my existence.
I mean, I don't think Hannah Montana was the only show on the Disney Channel during this time.
No,
I
ate
theme,
it.
right?
I ate it all up, bro. Like I loved like the fucking Zach and
Cody.
The Drake and Josh. I think that was Disney, right?
Yeah,
that
was Drake and Josh. Like all these shows I fucking ate up, but I think this is the one that like definitely stuck with me the most for some reason, and I can't even tell you why. Because like I recognize how fucking dumb this is. I'm a fully grown man. I'm nearly 30. Why was I obsessed with this fucking thing? And like, look, the reason why I'm telling you about this is because I don't really care. I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah.
I could easily just never.
Oh no, Drake and Josh was Nickelodeon. You're right.
Yeah, it was
You're
Nickelodeon.
right.
I could easily just move on and pretend like I never had this phase in my life. But I think it's also funny, and I think maybe it'll help someone out there who's also maybe like something they feel like they shouldn't like.
Yeah, and I
help
feel as well as like, you know, as you can see now, you know, you're more open to talking about it. You're not so much embarrassed about it because you're an adult now, right?
Bro, I knew the dance. I knew the hoedown throwdown. There was a dance in the movie.
Yeah.
It was the first movie I ever pirated because I was so desperate that I figured out how to pirate because I was like, I want to watch Hannah Montana. So yeah, I just got like super fucking into Disney, and I think for me,
Disney shows or Disney movies?
Disney shows. The movies didn't, because the Disney show and what I think they tried to sell, and very successfully at that time, was like this kind of like this to teenagers specifically. They sold a very good like, yeah, man, like you can just do whatever you want. Like life will be great. Just pursue your dreams.
Yeah.
Like that I felt like other shows didn't really like sell me on it as much. But also I think sold me on a lot of like Americana as well, which I think is why I got so obsessed with a lot of American things.
I kind of had something similar to that where it was like not so much an obsession, but something I really, really like unequivocally loved. But I was just kind of too embarrassed at the time to admit that I loved it.
Yeah.
I was fucking obsessed with Britney Spears. I fucking loved Britney Spears music. And it was so bad. She makes fucking fantastic music, right? And it's like, nowadays, so much of that recognition is finally out there. And, people just like love her as just an icon of the time, right? But, when I was like 12, 13 years old, and, it wasn't really like it didn't so much fit, I guess, like the gender norms, if you will. Like, like
fucking Hannah Montana,
yeah,
bro.
let's say with Hannah Montana, right? It's like, oh, boys shouldn't be listening to Britney Spears. And especially, during this time as well, all my friends around me were just like, Britney Spears, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Especially my dad, It was so hard to like go home.
Bro, you think my dad who's a football geezer?
Yeah.
Like,
it was so hard. It was so hard to, sit there and listen to, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd with my dad and then secretly be like, yeah, but I want to listen to that new Britney Spears song though.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, yeah, fuck it. I've got like her vinyls now. It's fucking great.
It's so strange. And I think if I can remember, if I get old and, if I have kids at some point, I hope I can remember how I felt watching Hannah Montana. Yeah. And I can, whenever, if a kid in the future has like some strange hobby that I don't quite understand, I hope I remember that feeling of watching the show.
Yeah.
And I guess like what it gave me at the time, which is so weird because I don't think the show ever tried to do anything like that. Never tried to be anything deep.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it just came at the right time where it like meant like so much to me.
Well, it's like you kind of like looking back, you don't realize how much of the shit that happens to you in that part of your life basically forms everything about your personality.
Absolutely.
It forms how you deal with pressure, how you deal with the tough times, and also just how, how your personality forms as an adult as well.
Yeah.
It's because it's like, you don't realize that it's, as an adult, you realize it's a lot harder to unlearn something than it is to learn something for the first time. And sometimes watching shows like this, even though it's like just weird Disney Channel or Nickelodeon sitcoms, you're like, damn, I want the life that they had. Because I think for me,
there's a lot of that too.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't know if anyone fucking remembers this because this was back when I was like a kid. Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
I mean, it's kind of the same style.
Yeah, that's kind of like the same style. That was
sure.
like constantly on TV. And
it made life seem so interesting.
Yeah. Right. Because she was like, I was like, yo, this girl has this secret fucking. She's a normal girl, but she has this secret life as a witch. She has a talking cat as well.
Yeah.
Yo, what?
I think it just made, especially, I mean, growing up in like fucking a bunch of fields and countryside where it's like nothing happening.
Yeah.
It made life seem so exciting.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, this could be my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, this is happening somewhere out there in the world.
Yeah. Because, at the time, I think she was quite young as well when she filmed it. So even I was like, man, that's crazy. Like, she's kind of like
easy to relate to.
Yeah. You're like, damn, she's got so much. Even like, as a 13-year-old, I didn't like see the show as real. Like, I knew it was actors. I think also that helped as well. I was like, oh my God, so many like teenagers are doing what I think is so cool.
Oh, yeah. And I feel that's why, like, these kinds of Disney shows and Nickelodeon shows were just so impactful to a lot of people in our age group, right? Because it's like, oh, wow, there's these like kids who are roughly the same age as me doing way cooler shit than I am.
Yeah. I'm sad I missed the whole like High School Musical phase, actually.
I never got into High School Musical.
I never got into High School
I never
Musical.
got into that specifically. More of the other stuff.
Or like Glee, that was another one as well. Which I was just like, whatever with.
I didn't really like the musical stuff. I was like, I just like the funny acting stuff. That was always more
the
fun.
sitcom-y stuff.
Yeah, I know, it's always more fun for me until I realize, you grow out of it and you're like, yeah, okay, time to move on.
Yeah. I never got into it, but anyone who was into it just seemed like they're having so much fun.
Yeah.
And I'm jealous of that in a sense.
That's true.
I was definitely like, I'm better than these guys. But you know what? At the end of the day, I think they were having more fun than me.
It's like, now that I think about it, maybe I wasn't. Maybe I wasn't better.
Yeah, man, I had so much fun. It was so much good times. But like, I think it's fun to talk about now and look back on and be like, yeah, it was maybe a bit odd, but it was a lot of fun.
How then, as someone who loved Hannah Montana growing up, like how did you personally see what became of Miley Cyrus?
I didn't really care for it.
You didn't really care?
No, I was kind of like, okay. I never really like her music.
Oh, fair, yeah.
The songs were always the part I didn't really like in Hannah Montana, which is kind of
hilarious.
a big part. Yeah, whenever she started like releasing music, I was like, what is this? Is Hannah Montana?
Go back to acting.
What the heck is this? What the heck? Yeah, I kind of fell out of it pretty quickly.
Oh, fair.
You move on.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, as a kid, you sometimes, as an adult, because I feel like now it takes me quite a while to move on from stuff that I like. Like to find new things, I feel like it takes quite a lot.
Really? I think it's pretty fast because there's so much things now.
I don't know. I feel like I like the stuff I like, and it takes me a while to find something new, like as in like a genre or a new type of hobby. It takes me quite a while to pick it up.
Maybe, but
and when you're a kid, it's like boom, 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 boom.
I think it's just because you had more time to
For
invest
sure,
in, right?
Yeah, because you were like, damn, what are I going to do this Sunday? I got an important Hannah Montana episode. I got to watch Simpsons later. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Play some card.
Just stacked on Saturdays.
Yeah, like this. Saturday's full, Mom. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I got things to do in front of the TV.
I don't know, actually. I feel like as an adult, it's infinitely easy, at least not really as an adult. I would say more this time period. It's infinitely easier for me to slip into a fucking rabbit hole because sometimes you just
Well, it's
get
just like targeted.
yeah, because sometimes you just get recommended a random video or random thing that you never would have been exposed to like before. And now you're like, that looks pretty fun actually. Like, I remember just like, I would never have, for example, found any interest in what's the thing like fucking
outdoor boys, the camping
outdoor boys
stuff.
throwing magnets into rivers and seeing what fucking comes up.
Magnet fishing,
magnet fishing. That's not. If not for the internet, there is no part of my brain that would have thought that this was like a hobby or an interest.
Thing,
But now that I see it, I'm like, damn, that looks.
It's like, how much are magnets? Let me look it up.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't think this is a hobby, but if someone gives me a magnet, I'll be like, let's see what we can uncover with it.
That's true. That is true.
Also, there's
Japan magnet fishing when?
Ooh.
That was hard.
I'm sure there's a ton of crazy shit in like Megiddo River, for instance.
I wonder if you need a permit or some shit for that.
Probably.
In Japan. Probably
No,
in Japan.
Yeah, you probably need a fucking license for it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No fun allowed.
Yeah, so I feel like in this day and age, it's just so much easier just to find like niche hobbies because there's always a community for it. It's much easier to find a community for it.
Maybe you felt that way, Connor, because there is so much stuff happening, and because back then you had all the time in the world to just like almost 100% put your focus in on something, so you could go a lot deeper and be more, I guess, obsessed with it. Whereas now, you could still be as obsessed with it and even potentially be, going deeper into that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But because there's so much other stuff happening, not just in your life, but also just, in the world of entertainment and the world around us, that it doesn't feel like you're going as deep into it, potentially.
Yeah,
you never felt like you wanted to learn a musical instrument?
Yeah, always. Every time I see the saxophone, I'm like, shit, I want to learn that.
Well, why don't you?
Just a lot of work. Maybe in the future when I have a bit more time.
I mean, I want to learn sax as well, so we can learn it together.
You'll gap me.
No.
You'll be like, chord. I'm like, what's that?
You can't play chords on a
No,
saxophone.
I don't know. Yeah, right? See, I don't know that. I don't know this. I don't know any of this, Joey.
We can learn it together.
It's okay.
That's the fun part
Oh,
about
my
doing a
Lord.
hobby together. It doesn't matter if one is better than the other.
True,
It's the journey. It's not the
about-
destination.
It's about the friends we make.
It's about the friends we made along the way.
Oh, true. Yeah.
When
you're
you
right.
give up on this YouTube thing and you have infinitely more time to just
I'll
do
become
whatever.
professional sax player.
Yeah. We're going to hear from Connor like 20 years later. He's like, yeah, he was playing in the jazz club like on a saxophone for some reason.
That go hard.
Yeah, I mean, like I went to Thailand this time, and my dad, is at the age where he's retired and stuff. Just randomly just got into fucking drawing, and I'm like,
Word?
and I'm like, I'm fucking jealous of you, Dad. He's never showed an interest in drawing, and he tells me, yeah, I woke up one day and I'm like, I want to try learning how to draw.
It's a very meditative thing, I think, to draw.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
When you do it relaxing.
Yeah. And anyone, I'm jealous because anyone who's seen any drawing videos of me, knows I have negative art skills, but
Me too.
But sometimes I feel like
God, you can learn to.
exactly.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
watching Felix's video, you're like, yeah, it's just a learning thing.
Exactly.
Everything's just a skill,
It's a skill.
it's-
Felix, yeah.
It's about
he's-
persistence. It's about putting in the work.
Yeah, I mean, there's some talent involved, but
course.
it's it's at the end of the day, no one gets anywhere without any skill.
Exactly.
Without any learning and practice and putting time into it.
Absolutely.
And I'm just reciting the entire message of ping pong right now.
You got to get good. You put the hours
put
in.
the hours in. Put the work
So
in.
hopefully you're putting some hours in and something you love, and it's satisfying.
like
for you.
Hannah Montana.
Like Hannah Montana, learning the hoedown, throwdown. Nothing more
Exactly.
satisfying in life. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Hey,
Yeah.
here's all the patrons though. They're on.
You sounded so sad saying that.
They're on that grind set. They're on that grind set. Hey, if you want to support the show, then you can head on over to patreon.com/trashtaste. By the way, every single week we have Patreon exclusive content that you guys can go check out right after this episode. Mudan, play a new clip of the new episode right now.
Green Book says Grey Gate CNC 18.
See, well, I assume this, like, because like the spine has a key on it, so I assume this acts as a key of some kind.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, you're right. You're right, actually. The
Oh,
spine
yeah.
does have a key.
there's only
Maybe,
one of those.
maybe I have to chuck that in fire. No.
Not sure about that, Chief.
But hey, if you want to check that out and support the show in the process, head on over to patreon.com/trashtaste. Also follow us on Twitter, send us some memes on the subreddit, and if you hate our face, listen to us on Spotify. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.